Hey folks, this is Michael Beall. This is our CET Experience 2023. I will be in the desert wishing y'all were there, but if you're not, this is going to be our virtual training. Well, yeah, virtual training. It's kind of like some of my other virtuals where nobody talks, nobody chats in, nobody nothing. So I'm just talking to my cat. We're going to go over, like I've done in the last few years, how we can kind of whip AutoCAD into shapes so that our drawings are going to be a little more elegant when they get into CET. So this is CAD corrections for more elegant imports. I tell you, over the last several months, it's always been something. I will hear from folks, and I was telling Kelsey in a little preview session, if you caught that on LinkedIn, in the course of 1 week, I heard from two people, two customers, regarding drawings that they had gotten that apparently were from Revit, and I am going to be bringing those to you in our time together here. For those of you unfamiliar with me, my name is Michael Beall. I am a CAD trainer. My website is cadtrainerguide.com. And here was me at Neocon. No, here's some of my customers. Okay. Some of these might be you. I've been training CAD systems since 1982. And so, yep, I've been around the block 6 times. So I do that. And then here's me at LinkedIn at Neocon. And these two ladies, Sarah on my right, and the one I forgot on my left, who are friends of mine too. So anyhow, I've been doing this a long time, AutoCAD, CET, CAP, all that stuff, but enough about that. Let's jump into it. What I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to be going back and forth, as you know, those of you who've had my training before, I'm going to be going back and forth between the workbook that you have available and the CET or into AutoCAD. What I'm going to do, I'm going to close that one. I'm going to close the email bit, and I'll leave up that for later. Okay, LT. If you are using AutoCAD and CAP for your CAP drawings, and of course then 2020 worksheet, that comes with a pretty significant financial footprint. If you no longer are using is into CET, then you might want to consider AutoCAD LT. LT, first of all, does not stand for light. It stands for laptop, people. When Autodesk rather, came out with LT in the early 90s, they said, hey, we got to get our software into the hands of these people who are getting these laptops. We're going to disable the ability to create 3D solids. You can do 3D surfaces, okay, all day long, but you just cannot do 3D solids in AutoCAD LT. You cannot run 2020 Office, or what you know as CAP Designer, or if you are using Project Matrix, you cannot run that in LT. You do not have the AutoCAD Express tools, but you can do everything else. So what you can do, you can open a drawing from CAP, from Project Matrix in AutoCAD LT, which may contain 3D surfaces or 3D solids, and view them in 3D. For example, what I have right here. This is LT, y'all. Okay, I am going to use LT the entire time we are together here. I do have several customers who have now and here's the approach. Let me wrap this little preface up. What you want to do is right now, and you saw this here in the book, AutoCAD, guys, every seat of AutoCAD per year per designer is, okay, call it $2,000. Okay, AutoCAD LT, $500. So there's a 75% savings by simply going to LT. You can do everything in LT except for these things I just mentioned. So what a lot of my folks are doing, they're retaining an AutoCAD license, a full license for legacy projects, right, that you might have, and then shoot fire. The rest of the designers, they've got that legacy system setting over there in a hoteling station, and you got something with CAP, you go over there and work on it. You have the rest of the stuff that you're simply going to do with AutoCAD, dude, just use it in LT. Here is LT. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here. The tool palettes. Let's talk about tool palettes, because you know you're going to be having those as well. I made 3 new ones. I talk about this more on the last page, but for to get around the confusion, these are going to be called X2023 Cleanup, X2023 Utilities, and X2023 AEC PDF. And I'm going to take a look at each one of these as we go through our hour here today. Okay. But here's your LT. I'm going to go to my utilities one. Okay. So if in fact LT is 3D and you made a 3D in CET, okay, so here's your 3D, we'll then prove it. So over here on the tool palette, the utilities tool palette, I've got one called Low Southeast View. You click it, boom. There's your stuff from CET. And here's the drawing. I even have the drawing over here. Okay, so here's the drawing that I made this from. Okay, this is JSI product that I did, and I saved this drawing and I exported it to CET. Now I did twice, to AutoCAD. I did it twice so I could have a 3D view, and then I imported a 2D view. But there's that one. So there's the ability to simply go to 3D just to prove that particular component. The other thing I wanted to do, let's wrap up page 1 here. Beginning with AutoCAD LT 2024, which is the version that is current as of this day. Okay, came out last March. And so with 2024, hey, you can run my productivity list routines. Not sure who all's out there. Hi, if I know you. But I have had routines that I've passed out to my students over the years. One that is an automatic numbering routine. So let me go back to plan view. So here's my plan view. There's a routine that some of you may know as OBJNO, object numbering. I don't want to start with leading zeros. You see what's going on down at the command line. First number 101. Text height, I don't know, 12. Where do you want to put it? I'm going to put it here and here and here and here and here. Now, stop right there. Yeah, all that can be adjusted as far as the text height and the style and the layer and such not. Okay, but this is LT, guys. So this is LT that prior to LT 24, you could not run external programs. So for those of you who are familiar with what I have with those little Lisp routines, contact me for that, and I can certainly set you up with all those. Okay, I did have a little URL here. I don't know if you can click it once you get the PDF, but this will take you to a price comparison if you do want to chat with management regarding LT and a little proof in that, which is where I got that screen capture. Okay, drawing on left, rendered in CET, drawings on right, same drawing in AutoCAD LT. There, page 2. The other thing you can do, and keeping in mind that I'm in AutoCAD LT, or yeah, LT right now, I'm going to start closing drawings when I'm finished with them here. When I select an item, let's see, this one, okay, yeah, let's go back to here. This has cap furniture in it. I'm in LT, right? So I can hover on a part, all the cap furniture is in there. If you, I mean, all the information, all the attributes and such. You can double click on a part, and all the stuff that you've done in full version of AutoCAD, you can do that in LT. So that is there at the top of page 2. Okay, double click a part, all the editing routines. Okay, you can set up rollover tooltips. Those of you who have been with me before, okay, in training know that we can go through the options, or rather CUI, and set up the rollover tooltips, which is what you're seeing here, right? I can hover on something, it tells me what it is, and more particularly hover on a cap part. Hover on a cap part and you will see all that information. Notice, if you will, also, if you are obviously, possibly still using cap, in AutoCAD, in cap, you can assign an alias, kind of like tag 1, 2, and 3 in CET. Notice the bottom of this particular rollover tooltip. If you did not have a visible alias, this rollover tooltip will also show you the aliases rather than having to double click on it and finding the aliases. Just a little cap sidebar. Trained cap since 1985. I'm really old, I know. Next, the other thing, and I saw this in an AutoCAD not long ago, that so you get this box down in the bottom right corner, right? Proxy information. I'm sick of that. What's interesting is AutoCAD has a dialog box on the open and save tab of options. I'm going to go into options right now. OP for options. So all the hotkeys you've ever used in AutoCAD are usable in CT. They're in, what is this? LT. I'm running all my letters together. I'm running out, my letters are bonking into each other. So over here in open and save tab, right here, there is missing these settings here. Okay, so if you're in LT, you do not have the ability to choose the show proxy graphics, turn off the proxy information dialog box. So this right here, folks, so those of you with LT or eminently to have LT, write this down. okay, or highlight this point in your PDF. There are 3 variables, the proxy notice, the proxy show, and the proxy graphics. If you type them in, so here's how this works since it's not there at the bottom, right? So you type proxy show, enter, 0, enter, and that's how you do it. From that point on, those are one and done, guys. Setting it in LT or in full version. Shoot, you can do that in full version. That's a one and done. So that is one of those issues that I've heard from people going, why does this proxy keep coming up? Well, A, they didn't add it to options, and B, that's how you fix it. Top of page 3, just showed you that one, right? So AutoCAD LT here is a 3D environment. You do have standard isometric views, right? So I'm going to come back here. Oh, I just closed it. Shoot fire. I'll go over here to Cesar's. Okay. So up here in view, you got them up here too. So LT has that. You either have my cool button, okay, or you can choose your southeast isometric. Now, yes, this here, yeah, we're going to address this before our time is finished here today. I saved this for the whiz bang end. So there's that one. Let me show you another thing. And to put Humpty Dumpty back on the wall, you go back here, UCS World Plan. Click that. That will always take your face to the bottom to plan view. Okay. So the northeast, southwest, southeast, northwest, those are kind of static. Those are kind of boring. And then I've got this low southeast. But then there's this thought, well, what if I want to put it where I want to? In full version of AutoCAD, you could do the pan, shift pan, and you'd have your little view cube up there. Well, you don't have that. So in LT, let me show you this. Grapefruit on a plate. So this is on my utilities tab. Okay. People really enjoy this once I understand what's going on. If I do grapefruit on a plate, okay, now stick with me here. So the inner circle is a grapefruit. Okay, so you take your grapefruit Saturday morning, you squeeze it out, you turn it upside down on your plate on the kitchen table, and what you have here in plan view is a grapefruit, the inner circle on a plate. Notice what happens to the Z-axis as I go closer to the top of the grapefruit. What? I know. Notice how I get down to the edge of the grapefruit. So this here is a dome over your furniture. Okay. And if I want to look at it over here, kind of in the southwest, I don't know, Scottsdale view, where we wish you were. Unfortunately, you're not. So I'm going to click right there. Okay. I want to look this way. So there's my note at the bottom. Okay, let's go over to the other side. Let's stay a little lower down here, a little worm's eye view right there. And got it? Cool. Now this is usable in AutoCAD and full version and in LT. Okay, but I did this because you do not have that feature in LT of the cool view cube, that kind of thing. If you're used to that one, then we can put her back. So that is the note that I have here. Okay. Actually, that is not the note that I have there. You could type V point, okay? You could type V point or type VP, okay? So if I type VP, here's another one. I forgot all about this. And so this is a twister pad, left hand green, right foot blue kind of thing. So here's plan view. Where do you want to stand? I stand over here, okay? And here's your flying pineapple wedge, how high in the air. If horizontal is the ground, right? Then I want to just get that high and go, okay, go baby, go, goes. All right. So that's what that is. All this to say, ending of the commentary regarding 3D and LT. There's 3D and LT, dude. It is right there. Rob Dietrich, who was with Project Matrix when they were Project Matrix, now part of Configura. Over the years, I've known him for many years. And he's always very humble. He's such a quiet guy, really nice guy if you've ever met him. He says, Michael, there's always Workspace that we have. We Project Matrix has Workspace, and now there's Workspace from Configura. And I thought, okay, I'll pull the trigger. Let's look at this thing. So there's this software. Where'd it go? There it is. Called Workspace. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to it. This is Project Workspace, okay? With respect to here, pricing and such like this. An annual cost somewhere between LT and the full version. Workspace comes with many more tools actually than LT. is in fact a full 3D environment, including our buddies press, pull, subtract, and union for working with 3D solids. Okay, so there is a little bit of an uptick in price, but it's substantially lower than AutoCAD, and it's graded. Okay, it's tiered based on how many seats you have. And I told Rob, I says, dude, send me the download. I'll show it to him. He says, all right. And so this here is a cap drawing. Okay, and you roll over it, you got the same kind of tooltip stuff. You even have what we know as the scarlet letter. Some of you have that scarlet letter. And all the things I was showing you before. Where's my ottoman? I have an ottoman in here. Shoot. So you can set stuff up over here on the side. Okay, like you've seen before. In here, all of these are, I'm really sorry. I usually have this all together. Ah, ah. Anyhow, there's 3D stuff. So there's 3D in here. All this is in Workspace. You do have this here. There's your view cube, and you can click, hold down Shift, and do this that you're used to doing. I was just trying to do that, and it wasn't. Don't crash on me now. Okay, so you do have features in there that are full 3D as you do in AutoCAD. So something to consider, Do you want to keep full 3D-ness and less than AutoCAD? You have something now, a product called Workspace from Configura. Reach out to Configura website and they will find that for you. Okay, or you can search it. Called Workspace. Top of page forward. Yeah, so now there are these wrinkles, what I'm calling wrinkles. A few wrinkles here in when we get these drawings. These, again, as I've said before, I get these things from my customers. I go, okay, I'm holding on to this so I can show it the next CTX. There's this drawing. Okay, where is it? Rectangle. There's my rectangle. This is NLT, so you cannot assign parametric properties as you can with AutoCAD, but there's going to be a time you click on something. See that little itty bitty badge? I can't zoom into it, but I'll show it to you in the book. It's this icon right here. See this little, it looks like a musical note, okay, little Z on there. I'm going to hover on here, and you wouldn't think so, especially in LT. When you click on it, you just get that. If you click on it in full version, have you ever seen these little boxes? I had this, and this is where I got the drawing, or learned that somebody was encountering this. I thought, well, I'll tell them about this one. Now watch this. I'm going to click on this grip and go over here with. I'm going to click on this grip, and I'm going to go over here. And you're going, oh, dear. Oh, dear. What else am I going to encounter? And so A, not your fault. B, it is a parametric constraint that has been assigned. C, how the dickens did it get on there? There is a variable, or rather there is a component to the AutoCAD full version of AutoCAD status bar called infer constraints. You might see it right here. So in full version, you click in the bottomest rightest corner, customization. Some of you, if you've been in my training, we go through this. Infer constraints, you do not want that enabled because that's this little scuba diver white and black flaggy kind of thing. Because if it is on when you draw, you get this here. Okay, so that's how you get it. How do you tell it to shut up? So you go up to parametric in the full version or in full AutoCAD, delete constraints. Prompt says select objects. You type ALL enter. Enter again. Bye-bye. Constraints removed for the entire drawing. You click in here, you got normal Joe Bob AutoCAD operation. Okay. And again, these things happen like Friday at 4:30, right? Here's another one. I was able to fix one for one of my kids, and then Neely from CWC down in Atlanta sent me another one. I said, Niels, I can't fix this one, kid. So you get these drawings. Here's the other encouragement to you. We know, and I'm trying to weave in my tool palettes, and I'll tell you how to get them here when we get to the end. My thought is, all right, you want to turn everybody on the bus, push button changed by layer, purge everything, delete duplicate objects, because I've got a lot of stuff to cover. I just want to point this one out. There's one called the Big Four with audit and one called the Big Four without audit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the Big Four with audit. It's going to take a little bit longer. Okay, but I will mention this to you because as I've done this before, as I've made the presentations before, people said, oh, all right, yeah, we're supposed to do this, this, and this, and they always include audit. And audit, I'm rather ambivalent about. Yeah, it's good, it's fine, but it's not a real showstopper if you don't do it. But I wanted to include it. So this one actually went quicker than I was expecting. But what this did, okay, the big four, it grabs these four. Everybody on the bus, please notice all these, a whole separate view this thing came up. Push button, change to by layer. We'll take a look at that in a little bit when we go over to Cesar's drawing in a minute. Purge. This will purge the drawing with that singular click. No dialog box pops up. It just does it. Okay. Then push button, delete duplicate objects, which brings up what many of you know is overkill, right? So that's this dialog box. It comes up. We know nothing at the top is checked. All of them are checked at the bottom except for the indents. And then you click all right, and it's done. What's interesting is, before I show you the whiz bang thing of this, okay, look at this down here at the bottom. 8,000, this is stunning. 8,400 duplicates were deleted. 2,800 overlapping objects. But wait, there's more. There's all this other stuff that I can't even get to the top of it. Okay, because it holds 200 lines. It can't, this box holds 200 lines. So this is a big thing. Okay, so that did include audit. I did see some fixes in there. But then there's this, and you're seeing this. Okay, it's like, what's this? Watch. Oh, I know. Okay, so when I show you how to fix things, I usually try to include why. Okay, there's a feature in AutoCAD called XClip that some of you may be familiar with, some of you may like using. I, for this reason, would prefer that you not. And if you do, don't send me your drawing, kid. I'm not interested in your drawing if you're using XClips and groups. Anyhow, but this is what we get. Okay, so here's how to fix this. Sometimes it could be from MicroStation. Okay, or you have inherited the drawing from others who are misusing XREFs. Not that XClips, yeah, something like that, an XClip has been misused. Yes, and so that's why I think it was not intentional. I think it came from another program. Either way, though, it can be really frustrating. There is a button on my AEC PDF button. Okay, so let's take a look at what will work, what has worked. And this is what I asked Neely when she sent me the note. She says, Michael, I have this. I said, you use a button? She says, yeah, and it's not working. So let me show you where the button is that does work in this drawing. So over on my X2023 AEC PDF tab, right there, push button, delete, XClip boundary. What this does is it simply runs the XClip command. It does a delete and it says select objects, and I put all in the button. So it does. So I'm just going to click the button and it's over. Prove it. Okie dokie. That's it. Nothing's there. Okay. So if life hands you one where you go to do a crossing window and all these little boxy things pop up, hop on over here to the button. Okay. Push the button. And if it works, great. And so Neely tried it. And if it doesn't, and that's my comment here, unfortunately, that button doesn't cure all the XREF. I did have one, this was Neely's drawing, had an individual block. Each block was within an XREF, was clipped out of an XREF. So each block came with a box. And so these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little boxes are the 5 tables and 5 chairs around a table in that drawing. Very, very frustrating. And I was able to fix it, but it took a lot of tinkering and it had to do with exploding, and then the block integrity was missing and such like that. So anyhow, if you can use the button, that's great. If you can't, let me know. Let me know. You never know. I might be able to stumble on something and I'm come back to Neely and tell her what's going on. Page 5. So remember I was telling you within the same week, I had 2 people come to me with Revit drawings. Closing that one so I can use it in Scottsdale. Is this the perimeter? This is the one. This drawing is a large drawing from a customer, obviously, and I'm going to roll over a piece of it, and that is, you will see there, that is a block. Hang on. I'm going to roll over this piece up here. There's the different one. There, that one there. That's another one. Okay, so I'm rolling over these. And so what you have are these block references. Okay. What I'm discovering, and I'll show you how I made this discovery, is that if you are getting a architectural firm who has done the drawing, kind of like this, and sent you the drawing as drawings, okay, they say, all right, we'll give you DWG since you don't have Revit, and it could be comprised of something like this. To go into this a little deeper, what I wound up doing is there is a command called classic insert. Okay, classic insert. I prefer this dialog box to the insert dialog box you will now see in your probably the most current versions of AutoCAD. 20, I want to say 2, 3, and 4 have the new one, and this is way more better. So you get a Joe Bob drawing like this. This, by the way, is 500 and what did I say? This is 153 meg. Okay, so we know that Configura goes, if you can get her down to a meg, it'll be nicer. Yeah, let's hang our hat here for a second. Okay, so we get these drawings. This is what I was helping with the customer. So you go in here, you open up the insert dialog box. Here's the first rather alarming little thing. You click on the drop-down list of this will list the blocks that are in the drawing. You click this. Look how small this scroll box is. Oh my, I know. Okay. So these are all blocks that are making up this drawing. Now, we know if you have any history with Revit, we know there are families. We know there are pieces in families. And can't go into the history and the detail that goes along with Revit. That's, I'm pretty sure, what we got going on. So what do we do? What do we wind up doing? All right, so here's what we know. If I hover on one of these pieces, it says, hi, I'm a block. Okay, here's what we also know. We cannot take this into CET, y'all. I mean, you give it a shot, but you mean go away for the weekend while it loads. Okay. So what they wound up doing is they says, we're going to make separate drawings and then PDF them and take the PDFs into CET, which is doable. So let me give you just the high level stuff here. When you single click on one of these blocks and then type W, which is W block, which some of you who I've trained before know, oh yeah, W block's pretty cool, because W block makes a drawing of the block. All right. So the nice thing is the trick in W block, and this isn't what I typically do in my training. What I usually do is we select, we go into W block, we select like a table and 4 chairs for a conference room, and we create a drawing from it using W block. But the beauty of this is, and this is what I have here in the book, okay? Select the block, check. Type dub to launch the right block, and you will see the name of the block at the top with the radio button already used to select block. Cool. So I got that. There's a block. Down here at the bottom right, I'm going to click this little ellipsis. So you click the browsy thing, says, all right, where do you want to put this? Okay, well then I'll go into my sessions. Up here, I'll go in the session. And there's the name. Okay, so I'm going to change it right here. I'm just going to go session 1 perimeter. Okay, and make a drawing, and that's it. That made it. That's it. And you click okie doke, and it goes all right, and it's flash, and it's done. So that is it. If that's the goal you have, and you have a large drawing, you may need to do this several times. Now, this does not mean that, and you see the little browsy thing with a scroll bar on there. This does not mean that every single one of these, you have to do every one of these. That perimeter there, or that drawing we just made, could be made up of several. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and open it up. Okay, so I'm just going to go to open, and I'm going to get my date up to the top. There you go. Oops, that reversed it, didn't it? CET session. I just did that. Session people. Where did I just put it? Session 1. So, okay, here, let's go with name. Play your stupid game. Session 1. Mercy's sakes. Did I put, oh, you know what? I bet I did it out here. CT accession. Oh, my word. Oh, look, Michael does it too. I know, Michael's doing it too. There it is. It was out there. I thought I put it in the session. Okay, double. So it's a drawing, right? Dude, so there you go. That was the drawing. So you get a monster drawing. You find it, highlights, goes a block. I'll use W block and make make one out of it. Okay. While I got you on the phone here, let's go on the next page because I want to show you something. I'll come back to this. Okay. Where did it go? There it is. Monster drawing note regarding PDFs. Okay. If a PDF will do the trick, well, I'll show you how to plot that, and we can do a large one or a big one. What I'm most interested in is this here. If you do a PDF in AutoCAD, be sure to run Overkill. Okay, if you bring a PDF in or any other drawing, okay, we're going to run Overkill on that. And I just realized I jumped ahead. Hang on a second. Let me show you this. Let me show you this because it's a button that I'm going to wind up doing. You ever go to plot and you set it to monochrome and you do extents and you're expecting a black and white, right? Then you do preview. Says, yeah, no, blow up your shirt. Not going to do that. Wait, what? So A, not your fault. Okay. B, it's Friday at 4 and you need her black and white. Let me show you a couple of buttons. And I'll circle back to the monster drawing thing. Back here in cleanup. Okay. Back here in cleanup. Oh, I guess it's under utilities. In utilities, I have a button here, just says layers to white. If you cannot get monochrome to monochrome, click that button. Everything turns white. Everything just went white. And you go to plot and it's like, all right, and that's because I just started this. Monochrome's good. Display's good. Here, let's go to extent, do the preview. Yeehaw! You got black and white. One other thing I want to share with you though, you ever go to plot and even when you do the PDF, the lines look like it's been drawn with a Sharpie. Okay. Little note, don't plot line weights. Do not, no lo esto line weighto. I don't speak Spanish, sorry. So you do no plot line weights and you click your preview now and you go in there and you have very, very crispy features in here. Now, while I have you up here, I also want to show you this here. Okay, see these dark heavy lines? Okay, this is something else you want to get rid of before you take it to CET. So I'm going to cancel this right here. I'm going to cancel this right here. The layers to white is a little bit later. I want to come back here on this one. And okay, let's wrap this one up right here. I'm good on that. We did the steps in there. Okay. What I want to do is I'm going to come over here to clean up. Okay. And now I'm going to take you in the book. I am going to have to move forward because I'm showing you buttons on this tool palette and you're going, where's all this information? On page 9. Okay. So make a note on page 9. Quick select for hatches and solids. Now, what I'm always going to do also is I recommend that you run the big 4. Oh, and by the way, how to put the colors back? Layer previous. So after you run your plot, there's layers to white. Okay, go out there and plot. Then come down here and hit layer previous. Make sure you don't save the drawing before you do that because you can't do layer previous if the drawing's gone. So I'm going to go back here to clean up. So, all right, we got the monster drawing from Revit that we need to get into CET, by golly, down to pieces. Okay, so we got these little pieces we're going to bring into Revit, but each one of these drawings that we created need to be cleaned up. They need to be cleaned up. So I'm going to click the big 4 without audit. Okay, runs it down through here, click OK. And what I want to point out in this one, okay, is we have this stuff. Okay, these were all okay. Everything's okay, no layers. But what's interesting is you will always find this. You are always going to find duplicates and things like that. So this big 4 is really important. If you just want to jump right to the overkill, you can do that. Here's the next thing. Remember I was talking to you with the PDF about this? This needs to be cleaned up. You do not want to bring this into CET because it'll just make your drawing much more bigger. Okay. Was that a right phrasing? So we did the big 4, talk about current and the layers and stuff like that in a minute. But what I want is this one right here. Quick select for hatches and solids. I'm going to click this one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for all the hatches in the drawing. I don't want to say all, but there's a very high likelihood that a Revit drawing is going to have a hatch for some component. So I want to find all the hatches. So I'm going to go to hatch, and this is what I sent to my customer just last week. I says, look what I found out here. I wanted to make sure you understood this. I'm going to click OK. So find all the hatches whose color equals by layer. Well, I just kind of did by layer with the button. I'm going to click OK. And it lights it up. Did you see that highlight? Now, just for dramatic effect, I'm going to do a move. And move this over from yay to yay. Oh, dear. The drawing looks just dandy. You just got rid of the goobers that were in the wall. Okay. So all this stuff you could get rid of. So let me go back through there. Here's how you do it if you don't, if you don't move it. So I'm going to do a quick select for hatches and solids. Say, hey, show me all the hatches. You go, all right, lights it up, hit delete. That's it. That's it. I'm going to take you over here to Cesar's a minute while I'm showing you this one. So remember this one here that we just looked at a little bit ago? I'm going to go back to plan view. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my plan view right there. Okay, so Configura says it's best if you do not have hatches, or you get rid of the ones you flat out don't need when you get there. So I'm going to go to my cleanup. Okay, run the big 4 without the audit. Okay, cleans it up. Click okie doke. Always overlapping stuff here. Then I'm going to come right to what we were talking about. Quick select for hatches and solids. I'm going to click there and say, all right, find the hatches for me. Fetch. Go fetch. Goes, hi, look what I found. Cool. Delete. Sweet. But wait, there's more. There's still stuff that's filled in. There's a command in AutoCAD called a solid. It came around in the early versions, okay, like back in the late 80s. And so that also will take up space. And so you click solid and you click OK. Those light up and you hit delete. That is a much, much leaner drawing, people. Okay, I am going to circle back to this drawing, but I did want to finish up my monster drawing coverage and the PDF bits. Okay, so you with me so far on the W block? Okay, we receive a PDF or we make one from the client. There, we want to do a PDF import. Now, CET, Configura, launched a while back a new PDF import process. So what I did is I went out here and I brought in this drawing here. Let me show you also, let me go back through this. I'm going to take my full hour here. On the utility or on the AEC PDF tab. Okay, so on my AEC PDF tab, a moment ago we saw push button delete XClips. Okay, I also have a button to bind all XREFs. Separate discussion, maybe another conference. Okay, import PDF file. Okay, so let's say you have this drawing. Okay, you bring it in here. What you see here, and thankfully this is being recorded, you can go back over it again, but these are the settings. Okay, you don't need the solid fills. So yes, no, and then everything checked except the first one, then just go ahead and pull the trigger. So you get this little barber pole that keeps coming in, that comes on in here, and it brings this PDF. Now, as soon as you bring a PDF in, remember a moment ago we took a look at that big 4, okay, that I like. Anytime you bring a PDF in, you run the big 4. More importantly, probably push button purge, push button delete duplicate objects. I click, this is stunning. You click OK to that. Hey, a simple PDF turned into polys. 13, that ain't a big drawing, kid. 13,000 duplicates, 19,000. This is why you don't take this into CET. It's too big. You've got to clean these drawings up. Okay. So that is what I did there. You go through scale. So now understanding that, let me go back to here. So if you brought the PDF into CET, instead of taking it to AutoCAD and converting it into polylines, once upon a time, or early version, okay, earliest approach was off the Tools tab. There was this one, okay, load image. You'd pick here, swipe, double click, and then you'd go get your PDF, okay? That's what this is. That's what this here is. And what I want to point out is the general lack of clarity of that which we're bringing in straight out of a PDF. You with me? Okay, so that's just Joe Bob PDF. That was the old days. New days, okay? New PDF extension. There's a new PDF extension right there, okay? And if you bring it in this way, okay, it's the same process. It's the same process. You click it, you double click it. look at the clarity that is much higher in here. Okay, so if you're going to bring PDFs like straight off the bus into CET without stopping at AutoCAD, then you want to be using this new one with this little image. Let me show you what I learned this morning. As a matter of fact, I had to edit my drawing because in your workbook, I don't think it has this one. Okay, if you have text and you double click text, sorry, I gotta move this out. Single click, move this side. Come over here. Come over here. Look at this. This is a bug. This is a feature request. I put a gap in. I put a space in here. I can't zoom in. And so what CET is doing right now, this is just like sidebar. Okay. If you have a null character in text, it leading null character, it ain't going to put it there. So if you want to put a little space over here at the front end of this and you go, yeah, I need a little space over here. Click OK. Yeah, not going to give it to you. Okay, so A, that's mean. B, I'll chase that rabbit in a little bit. But let's circle back to what the point was. The point is use the new one. Okay. Now, I sent this to my friends. I said, you know what? Use the new PDF if you don't like the old one. No, Michael, we like yours. Why? Because these two, you don't get 3D. Oh, so if you're in 2D and you use import, right? You do file and you do import and export and you do import file and you come down here and you get your drawing. Okay, you get the drawing, bring the drawing in. Okay, then like here. So if I saved this as a DWG, then the PDF converted to polylines in AutoCAD, then file, import, and export, you get this drawing. The clarity is there. The clarity is absolutely there. But what you get then in 3D, okay, if you bring something in here, let me get some Joe Bob component. Come here. Oh, got to grab one, Michael. Okay. Bring some component in, you set her down. Now you can use a line. Oh, I know. So now I got to get my little zoom things are up there. Okay, so I can get a line, come up here, pick this thing, put it up again it. There you go. Okay, so let's talk about all the options in here. You don't want to use the old one. Okay, load image. The new one's cool if you really don't give a rip about being able to attach and change anything in here, but you bring in with lines here, you got lines, and you double click this, and of course you've got the CAD layers and such like that. Okay. This, by the way, also that I put down here at the bottom, okay, is the come here. Okay, come here, child. This is that larger drawing that it was a PDF. It's pretty clean. It is pretty clean. Okay, it looks very good. But let me show you how that clean circle came about. This is a print to PDF. AutoCAD has a PDF generator that is actually, I think, would be preferable to Adobe, Qt, the other Adobe. Bluebeam's dandy. You'd have to check it. But see this clarity on the circles here? See the lack of clarity on the circles here? Yeah, let's chat. Over here in AutoCAD, when you go to plot, okay, when you, okay, I'll turn that off. I started, what I usually do is I leave this on so people that are new to LT, they go, oh, what do I do with this? This way mine comes up like the new people would come up, but I'm just going to say, shut up, go lay down. Continue to plot a single sheet right here. Okay. So you've always had DWG to PDF. Many of you, most of you have Adobe PDF, but unbeknownst to many, about 4 versions ago in AutoCAD back in I don't know, whatever it was, 2020 AutoCAD, they came up with this. There's AutoCAD PDF general documentation, which is what I just showed you, that one of the ones I showed you, one with the clear circles, high quality, smallest file. So literally they are the smaller files. And so the point I wanted to make here was it this one? There you go. Okay. So on page 7, okay, I have one, the general documentation driver, let's call it, was a 5 meg. Okay. Another same drawing, smallest file comes in as 3 meg. So you choose. Okay. Do you need clarity in the drawing? Then I would use the general driver if that is not as necessary. And again, you'll have to test it. But I wanted to do something kind of Mac Daddy here so that you see what the smaller file is going to do. It's a little more haphazard, if you will, in the generating of the PDF. Okay. And bottom line, and then I'll move on. That's what this one was the general, the one with the higher quality. Okay. Woo! I think we've beaten that PDF up, but in the context of having large drawings that we're starting to get clearly that are from Revit, turn them into a DWG, and you can go from there. Yada, yada. Oh, good. So I'm on that one. I'm going to go back to here, and I want to come back to this one. Yeah. Is this my layer walk? It's going to be here. Yeah. Okay. So here's this drawing. We want to clean it up. Okay, so we want to push button. Where'd my delete hatches? Where'd it go? Push button, layer delete. Oh, it's down here. Quick select for hatches. Okay, and I'm going to get my hatch and go okay, and I'm going to delete them. Okay, cool. So she's all cleaned up, and maybe we go out and we make her black and white. Okay, whatever the situation is that we're going to set that drawing up to. Thing is, I don't need a dozen layers coming into CET. Mouse, thank you so much. Okay, so here's all my layers in this thing. Okay, so layer walk is out here on the tool palette, on the cleanup tool palette that I really like. And those of you who've been in my training before, hopefully you are starting to like this too. You click on here and now you arrow down, holy smoke, what is all this stuff? So it's like, can I make just like one layer, maybe leave the doors off or something as a separate layer, but all these layers go together to make a drawing. So my proposal is this one. So in our book, we've seen layers, everybody on the bus. That'll do a zoom extents. That turns on, thaws, unlocks all the layers. Push button, change to by layer. I'll show you that in a second with scissors. Then the purge, okay, use that frequently. I do that all the time. You just smack that button. You don't get a dialog box. It just purges. Then, of course, overkill. That's one with a dialog box. Okay, that's get rid of the overlapping objects and stuff like that. And then what I was talking about, the big four, right? Then after those ones, let me show you this one, okay? The push button, layer delete, single pick. This one, and some of you going, oh, Michael, that's the one you always use. I know. I kept that in the wings, knowing if any of you had my training before, you go, do you still have that purple drawing? Going to run the big four on it. Big four with the audit. Click it. Boom. Turns on, thaws, unlocks, does a zoom extents, does an edit and says, hey, you want to delete duplicate objects? You betcha. And so you do that every single time anybody sends you a drawing. You breathe on a drawing, you run that button first, okay? But if I'm taking this into CET and the building's built, dude, love the column lines, don't need them when I go into CET. Yeah, you can keep your bubbles too. So over here, this says push button layer delete single pick. And you click that one and you go, I don't need you, right click or your dog. And then you zoom up to these. You've seen these drawings, right? They put all this stuff in it. And you go, yeah, I don't need this computer from 1997 and the phone. Who does that? And so you start cleaning this up. Then some of you might have encountered a drawing where there's a layer and the layer is empty. There is nothing on that layer and it will not purge. You run purge, it says blow up your shirt. Not going to get rid of this layer. But there's this button here, layer delete by name. Autodesk clearly knew this was a case because I didn't make these buttons up. These are just AutoCAD buttons. It says, hi, what layer in this drawing do you need to get rid of because there's nothing on it? You go, I'm not finding squat on I door E, and you click OK. It goes, you want to get rid of that? You go, and there she goes. Okay, whatever that case was. Sidebar on CET imported drawings imported from CET and AutoCAD. I've had a couple of customers say, hey, can we use that delete a layer of the layer it was imported from CET that you might want to get rid of? Okay, so that is a practical application there. Quick select for hatches and solids. We've been, I harped on that quite a bit. Layer walk. So here's my layer walk, buddy. You go to layer walk. Okay, you kind of drill down, find out what it is, but then you select that. So you do layer walk, you find out I like this, and the other thing. You might turn on panels just so you can trace it once you get in CET, right? So that's all I need. But the thing is, again, I do not need, nor do I want, a dozen layers to take into CET. So I'm going to close this. What do we do?
So to merge layers. So right here is to merge layers in our book. Okay, I'm on the top of page 10. 10. What, do you live in Kentucky? Yep, shut up. So I'm going to go to merge layers, and I'm going to double click EB core to make it current. And then I'm going to select the ones I want to merge to EB core. Okay, so I'm going to select I'm going to deselect. So I'm going to hold down control and deselect the header and the door. But the rest of the blue ones, I'll squeeze those onto EB core, dude. Okay, so right click on the selection, merge selected layers to, goes, hi, here are the layers you did not choose. Which one would you like to squeeze those ones onto? And you go EB core, and you click OK. It goes, are you sure? You go, yes. Squeeze. And so now you've got way less layers. Okay. Sidebar on 2020 on cap. You ever have somebody say, hey, send me all your furniture layers without the furniture? Okay. Can you get rid of all the furniture layers? Put it all on one layer. There you go. You squeeze all the A fern layers, whatever your cap furniture is, onto A dash fern. One single white A fern layer with all the furniture on it. You send it to them. You go, here you go. Quit your fussing. Okay, so now what we have, in layer walk, right? You go to layer walk, you go, hi, I need you and maybe you. That, y'all, is what you take to CET using W block, right? You W block it out to make a drawing. That was the thought there. Okay, I got a few more minutes. I'm going to push it right to the edge because I have something else I want to show you. Been there, did that. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to come back here to sit. Thank you so much. Go lay down. Going to go back to here. So about this one. Okay, remember we left our hero over here? Yeah, what are we going to do about this? So I have a button on utilities. Some things you will get this thickness added to them. So I get thickness 0. Smash. I know. That's pretty stunning when you get that. So Cesar sent me this drawing. He says, Michael, what are we going to do with this? Then there's, see these other doobies up here? See these other things floating? You go elevation 0, down she goes. Then I'm going to get to a lower view. I'm going to get a worm's eye view here. Then I'm going to show you this. I'm going to select these and this here, this here. This is down here at the bottom of page 11. I'm going to go into properties now. Their start and end Z isn't 0. No, you can't not start and end on 0. So you put 0 for the start and it goes, okay, I'm really sorry. Then you come down here and do end Z. Hey, we're all over the map. Yeah, no, you need to go lay down. And okay, we're really sorry. And there you go. Okay, that's it. I love that drawing. I've been using that now for a couple of years because it's just spot on. It is just like really, really spot on. Okay, there you go. And you save the drawing, you come in. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go back to this one. I closed that and I thought, Michael, you didn't want to close that one. Here's my start. Okay. Session start. Where'd my start go? Nope, not that one. Goodness mercy. I apologize. There it is. Nope. Yep, that's it. So you export a drawing, right? You export your drawing. And what are your units? What are the units down here? Now, I think I heard that Configura is working on this. Okay, because when you export a drawing, it does not say, hey, let me start with your AutoCAD template. And hey, where's all your layers? And you're going, hey, where are all my layers? I got Jack. So you get a drawing and these are you see where I'm going here, right? It's decimal and I'm going, no. I'm not having my kids do that because you don't have your layout tabs. You don't have your layers. It's all, okay. So what's your point in your book? Go to page. Oh, good. It is right there. Okay. And I put a button on the tool palette that you are going to have available to you. Okay. So you saw what I got. I got units that are decimal. I got no layers. You ready? One button. So right here, you probably won't have the image when you get the tool palette. It's called favorite settings. So I'm going to click favorite settings. Click it. It's over. What? Here are all my CETX layers that I had, okay, that I made. Here are my dimension styles that I wanted to have in my drawing. Here are my text styles that I wanted to have in the drawing that were not there when I got it. Oh, and by the way, it's now set to architectural. Okay, so down here in the bottom, we have it set to architectural. I am locked and loaded, and I can do anything that's the rest of my stuff. Now, there are other ways of bringing in layout tabs. That's a separate discussion, and maybe I'll do that next year. Or those of you who've had my training know how to do that, or reach out to me. But here's what we just did. Issue. You open a DWG brought in from CET, and it's in decimal, whatever. Load your master template from the palette. Okay, you could do that from the palette. Okay, but the thing is, the template, that's what I just set up. Okay, the template, okay, has your layer states, your layers, your styles, and dimension styles, text styles, that kind of thing. The insert dialog box allows you to insert a DWG. Okay, so bottom line, here's what we wound up doing. Okay, the prerequisite for this is that you must know what folder your DWT or DWG is saved in. Okay, so it'll work with either one, either a DWT or a DWG. Okay, but you need to know where it is. All right, so this text here, okay, that's in here is in this button on the palette. Okay, so all this here, I think, don't lie to the people. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to get the tool palette. Okay, you're going to go to that button, and you're going to find this section of that button, and you're going to type in there what the name is of your DWT. Okay, what the name of it is. Okay, so that's one thing. Two things you got to do. Okay, so you need to know where the folder is. I'm going to come back to that. Okay, so you with me? Okay, so you need to know the name. Then the other thing, and it doesn't matter what order this happens in. Well, you want to do that one second. First thing you want to do is go into options and go up here to files, and under support file search path, do add and browse, and put the path where your DWT is. Okay, you with me? So what I did is I have Scottsdale here. I have my folder here. That's where I know that this template is, or yeah, where that drawing is. You with me? Okay. All right. Dang, shoot. I'm done. And Kate and I could just talk for stupid ever, but it's time to go. And I think we started just a smidgy bit after the fact. So you're probably at 57 minutes here. Okay, so here's what we know. I know I can go to my next slide. Okay. Oh, good. It worked. I just don't do PowerPoint. I don't do PowerPoint. You can call me anytime. You can, oh, shoot. I didn't put my phone number on there. My phone number is on my website. Okay. You can text me there. Skipper's on the left. TJ's on the right. Okay. Doing fine. They're doing fine. They're doing just dandy. Come and see us. And you know what? I had told you, if you knew that, oh, Michael's gonna, go get his buddy's horses in Phoenix. No, that didn't work out. Kelsey did a little research, and the hotel's going, yeah, no, and my buddy's gonna be on vacation. Go, no, that ain't gonna do it. Anyhow, get the tool palettes. I'm not quite sure how that will happen. They will be posted. A few other things in there, round trip of the drawing. Oh, and by the way, leaving you with this, also keyboard shortcuts are in there. These are the keyboard shortcuts I taught you during our training. Okay, if any of you had my training, these are the ones I use every single time. Doing on that. And that, I think, here's your download of the palettes. Okay, how to load the palette. You will need to get these 3 files that will be available, as I understand it, from the from the CET Experience site. I haven't gotten them up there yet. Okay, those are the steps. Here is your Aztec symbol for your QR code for your IDCEC credit. Okay. Oh, there's my phone number. There's a phone number down there. You can call or text that. All right. Hey, this was fun. Skipper's going, Dad, where are you going? Well, Skipper, I'm heading out there for the setting sun to Phoenix, Arizona, and Scottsdale, and I will be out there. miss you guys. I will miss you, but that's about it. All I can do is hang up on you. All right. You are free to move about the cabin. See you. Bye.